Greetings and welcome to the Power Gamer Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Dawson, joined as always by fellow host, Johnny Paulus. Johnny, are you there, Johnny?
I'm here. What's up?
Where you been, dude?
I know I disappeared from the online world.
I haven't seen you in a while or heard from you, and I was getting ready to, call somebody and make sure you were still alive. You must have been a busy man this past week, sir.
Yeah, no, work was busy, and then I had a big console scare with the PS5.
Oh no!
Similar to the red ring of death, the PlayStation 5 apparently has the blue light of death. So
Jesus Christ!
I'm playing Returnal, and I wanted to show Damon, my youngest, the Horizon Zero Dawn gameplay video. So I exit out of the game and I go to the YouTube app on the console, and it says please wait, and it has a spinning wheel, and it says this please wait is on the screen for like literally 10 minutes. So finally I'm like, all right, well I guess I just gotta fucking turn the console off.
You waited for 10 minutes before you were like, finally I gotta turn my console off? Or?
I think I got up and was like making sandwiches for the kids or something. I never would have sat there and stared at the wheel for 10 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. I just see you like glazed in my mind, like glazed over, staring at the screen. Please
No. Yeah, no, there's no way I'm going to sit and watch a wheel for 10 minutes. But no, it was just like, well, I'll come back to this. So I walked away, and I come back, and it's still going. I was like, man, what the hell? So I turn it off. I turn it back on, and it says, repairing internal console storage. And there's a little bar filling up. And once it gets to 100, it shows the PlayStation logo, and then the screen goes black, and the lights on the console just continually pulse blue, like it's breathing blue. All right? I'm like, okay, this is weird.
So at this point, your pants are completely brown.
Yeah, a little bit. So I turn it off and I turn it on, and the same thing, and I turn it off and I turn it on, the same thing. I turn it off, I unplug the power cable, let it sit for 5 minutes, completely disconnected from power, plug it back in, same thing. I go into safe mode, and I rebuild the cache. Nothing. I reload. I update the user software. Nothing. Like, I'm doing every single option in safe mode, and then I go to Sony's customer service. I describe my situation, and they go, "Have you tried this? Yes. Have you tried this? Yes. Have you tried this? Yes. You need to reset the console." Now, here's the problem. Neither of my boys had a PlayStation like online account. They were all just guest accounts on the console. So when I reset that, deleted all their saved games.
Zapped.
So my saved games were safe, theirs were not. But after I reset it, everything was fine. So then I immediately made a Gmail for both of my kids. Logged it into PlayStation just so it won't happen again. If I ever have to reset it again, at least all their saved games will be, safe in the cloud. But no, I mean, that was a day and a half of messing with that. And then I had 2 gigs Friday and Saturday night. And today I busted out the smoker for the first time. I did a bunch of ribs, and it came out wonderful.
You got to get back in the habit of advertising when you have these gigs, sir. Because
yeah, I know.
The mask mandate is over, and people are trying to come out again. I think I put it in the show notes last week, and I just forgot to go over it. And we can talk about this here because a lot of our friends from around town listen to the show. Has there been any discussions of bringing back O'Brien's now that things are kind of back to normal?
I've tried reaching out. And I haven't really gotten like the cold shoulder, but just kind of like I don't know. So, I mean, not the warm reception I was looking for, but Billy, the bartender, told me I need to come in on a Sunday night and talk to someone. He told me someone specifically I need to chat with, but
all right.
I'd love to get back in there.
Yeah. If they're down for having it back, we should turn it into a big thing where we make everyone on the planet show up for it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Holy fuck, this survived the pandemic somehow.
I know, right? Yeah, cool. No, I need to get back on that horse and get the open mic going again.
Yes, indeed. And then we can record the show on a different night because I'll be there doing that. So,
Hey, man, what about you? How was your week? We haven't really talked much.
Dude, I don't do shit. Every week we sit down and you tell me about your crazy week and everything. Nothing ever happens to me. I wake up in the morning, I walk my ass downstairs at 9:00 in the morning, and I log on my computer and I do my job, and there hasn't been a ton of drama. Yeah, I'm not complaining, by the way. I like things stable. I don't like surprises. I don't like disorganized activity interrupting my schedules. So right. I'm good with it. The only things I guess new to report is one of the companies that I represent, in their infinite wisdom, has decided to host a training that begins on Father's Day in Cleveland.
Oh no!
Yeah, very smart. In an industry dominated by men, let's have everyone get on a plane and fly to Cleveland on Father's Day. Little tone deaf, but
wow, that's rude.
And it is what it is. Fortunately, now my birthday is only a few days after Father's Day. I'm a stepfather. I'm not a purebred, so to speak. But I do get to come back the day before my birthday, so there is at least that silver lining.
Okay.
So yeah, I get to go to Cleveland. Look at me, I'm in Cleveland.
Yay, I'm in Cleveland.
A place I have not been before. I shall venture to in about 20 days.
I've been to Ohio. You're not missing anything.
I've driven through Ohio, and nothing made me want to stop. Sorry, Ohio.
That's a really good way of putting it. It's true.
So yeah, I'll be in Cleveland for a few days doing some training and stuff, and I'll be doing a lot of playing on the Switch that week, no doubt. And we'll probably have to record that episode like the Saturday before I leave.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll figure it out.
We'll have to do it a little bit early because I've learned from my traveling that trying to depend on hotel internet is about the dumbest thing a man can do. So don't do that.
Accurate.
So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is episode 17 of the Power Gamer Podcast. First up this week, we're going to talk about what we've been playing. As some of you may have predicted, I am still knee-deep in the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Hopefully, some of you out there are obsessed with Mass Effect, such as I am, and have gone out and picked this collection up. I think when we were talking about this last week, Johnny, I'd mentioned that I was, a few hours into Mass Effect 1. So, fast forward a week later, I have got the Platinum Trophy in Mass Effect 1. I have completely dominated that game for, I guess, what's now the 8th time in my life. And we are done with Mass Effect 1, and we are now 35 hours into Mass Effect 2. So I guess you could say this past week I've played a lot of fucking video games.
Hell yeah, you've been busy.
And as of the time we're recording this podcast, I have recruited everyone but the Geth, and I have full loyalty from everyone but the Geth. And so I just need to go do the mission to pick up the IFF drive, then recruit the Geth, do the Geth's loyalty mission, and I have all the upgrades on the ship and everything already. So it's basically recruit the Geth, grab the IFF drive, gain the Geth's loyalty, and then do the suicide mission, and I'll have 100%ed that game with a platinum trophy as well.
Nice. You're fucking smashing through it. I mean, I knew you would, but...
And this is all on Insanity difficulty as well, because my goal is to just one pass through the whole trilogy, get 100% trophies on everything. And, yeah, there's a few tips I can lay out there for people trying to do the same thing. You had asked me last week, Johnny, if there was anything in Mass Effect 1 that you could do to screw yourself up trying to like do a completionist run like this. And there actually is something that will completely fucking destroy your run that happens in the first 10, 15 minutes of the game that I forgot about and actually fell victim to. So one of the trophies in Mass Effect 1 is getting all the codex entries for all the different alien races. No problem. Well, except that if for anyone that's played Mass Effect 1, one of the specters you meet in the game, his name is Nihilus. And Nihilus meets his demise rather early in the game, like on the first mission. And there's a conversation that takes place before the first mission where it's you, Captain Anderson, and the Spectre Nihilus. And it is the only point in the game that you can unlock the Prothean Codex. And if you don't go and do the investigate and run through all the conversations in that one scene at the beginning of the game, you cannot get the Prothean Codex entry at any other point in the game. Which is absurd because like you're on Ilos at the end of the game speaking with the fucking Prothean VI and you can't unlock the Prothean Codex entry.
That's weird. What a strange choice.
So guess who derped and missed it?
So you had to restart the playthrough?
No. I went buck and I created a brand new character and I ran through the first hour of the game because here's the thing. It doesn't pop just for getting all the codex entries in general. You have to have them all on the same character at the same time. But fortunately, you can get all of the race codex entries on your first trip to the Citadel. So if you just beat the first mission, go back through the Citadel, there's a quick walkthrough where you can find all the alien races there. Took 45 minutes to correct that mistake. So I'm sure someone out there listening has made the same mistake. So don't panic. Just make a new character. You lost 45 minutes of your life. And it's not the end of the world. You can still get your platinum trophy without having to completely replay the whole game. So
got it. So you have to get to the Citadel, and then you can knock off all those codex entries right there at the Citadel.
Yes, yeah. And I never even generated a save for that character to fix that mistake. I just built her and ran through, put it on easy, and had it done in about 45 minutes. So. Yep, just something to be mindful of that we haven't had to think about in over a decade. I guess only general closing comments on Mass Effect 1 as we've rolled credits on it. It has visually been really, really made much better than the original was. So if you're buying this set, please play through Mass Effect 1. It's fantastic, and I can say after now investing 35 hours into Mass Effect 2, it would be really hard to play Mass Effect 2 or 3 and then go back and play Mass Effect 1. So make sure you don't save that one for later. Just go ahead and get that one out of the way up front. And it's fantastic. So,
well, and that's a part of the draw of that series is that you can carry your character and the decisions that you've made into each game.
Yeah. Well, you know, another fellow besides yourself that I watch stream a lot, Doot to Do, DOOTDADOO, on Twitch TV. He picked up the game as well, which I was excited for. However, he just hates on Mass Effect 1, which kind of breaks my heart a little bit because that's my favorite game out of the series. And, yeah, he fucking skipped it, and it's just driving me crazy. He just went straight into Mass Effect 2.
Damn, that's crazy. Nah, if I picked up the Legendary Edition, I'd definitely play the whole trilogy. And I mean, I just binged that trilogy, you know, like I've mentioned before, maybe 3 years ago. I didn't regret my time with Mass Effect 1, and I wasn't playing the Legendary Edition. I was playing it on PC, maybe with a few mods to make it look a little nicer, but I mean, I enjoyed the game just fine. I really had no issues with it whatsoever.
Yeah, skipping Mass Effect 1 in the Legendary Edition is like getting a slice of really fucking awesome cake and then just scraping off the icing. Anyway, that's what I've been playing this week. Johnny, what about you, sir? What have you been up to?
I had another couple sessions of Last of Us 2. I've gotten to day 2 Seattle.
Fantastic. I hope to observe some more of this.
Yeah, I'm gonna go into that game hardcore probably this week.
So what did you think of day 1?
Day 1 was great. The Shamblers are fucking terrifying and frustrating.
Yes.
There's a lot of stealth and a lot of targets in this game. I don't remember there ever being that many enemies in one zone in the first one. I could be wrong.
It's dense. It's really dense, and they don't mess around with wanting you to master Ellie's stealth abilities in this game.
Yeah, totally. But no, I'm enjoying it. The story's great. I can't wait to see what happens next. I'm sure there's some more big reveals coming. From everything that I've heard, I'm still completely spoiler free. I don't have. That's nothing in this game has been.
And I'm so excited that you somehow have dodged it. So
Literally none of this game has been spoiled. Even the reveal in the beginning of the game was not spoiled for me. That was I wasn't surprised when it happened, but it was not. I had not been spoiled for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's gruesome. I don't think anyone's prepared for how gruesome that the scenes that occur before Seattle are, but they're brutal. So you got to one of my favorite points then in the game where you kind of see Ellie get like the sour grapes look with her girlfriend when what's his name shows up.
Oh yeah,
she gets real.
There's a little bit of a third wheel vibe going on there.
Yeah, she gets real shitty.
Yep.
But yeah, no, fantastic.
So I'm back into that, and I'm still hacking away at Returnal.
How's that going?
I'm pretty regularly getting to Biome 5, which is the second to last world. So I've only got 2 bosses left. I did have my first major glitch in Returnal. It happened last night on stream, and I was beyond annoyed. What happened was I full cleared Biome 4. Like, I did every room, every power-up, everything I could get, spent every dime that I could possibly spend. I had double my health bar. I had a really strong weapon. All of my artifacts were looking good. Like, this is the kind of run that dreams are made of. This is the kind of run where I was literally thinking I might be able to beat the game on this one. At the rate that this is going, with the amount of health that I have, with the amount of respawns that I have, I might be able to beat the whole goddamn game. Like, right now in this playthrough. And I'm in Biome 5, and I go into, they're called containment gates, where you have to shoot something on the door to make the door open. And then once you enter, all the doors into that room lock, and you have to fully clear that room. And there's typically waves. And this was a monster room. And I got through it relatively unscathed. Like, I was pumped, man. I was like, man, I still got, like, full health. And there's a bunch of health packs all around. And, like, dude, this run is going so well. This gun rips. My kid is perfect. This is awesome. I go loot the room. And I noticed that the doors are still locked. And I can't unlock them. So I spend the next 5 minutes like shooting every surface in the map, hoping maybe there's like an enemy hidden somewhere that I hadn't, been able to find. Then I started swinging my sword into all the walls and jumping up and down and hitting the walls. And then I hit the Google machine, and I found other people on Reddit that had the same issue. And the solution was, there isn't one. You have to restart your run. So,
ouch.
Needless to say, that was the end of my Returnal stream last night. I was like, I'm gonna go fucking watch Netflix. Fuck this shit. See ya.
Now, Biome 5 is the one sandwiched between 4 and 6 that I think you described that like doesn't have a boss. It's just like a staging, gearing up area, or I'm starting to think there is a boss, but once I clear that boss, I won't ever have to fight him again, because there's like right when you get
to the 5th biome, there's a hole in the floor where once I get the suit where I can go underwater, I'll be able to just literally go to that world. So biome 5 is a hurdle that once I clear it, I think it's going to be similar to biome 2, which is, of all the biomes, the biome I have played the least, because you really don't need it. If you full clear biome 1 and you've beaten biome 2, you can skip right to 3 and start kicking ass. And, this game is kind of a halfway point where once you get to biome 4, biome 4 is now your first level. So you don't have to play through 1, 2, and 3 anymore. You're now starting at the 4th world. I got a vibe that kind of once I beat 5, 5's going to be in the rear view, and it's really going to be full clear 4, get as much gear and as much health as you can, and then head straight to 6. So I really do think I can beat this game in the next week or so.
If it doesn't glitch out every time you play.
If it doesn't glitch. I mean, hey, at this point, I think I have 90 attempts or more. I've only had one glitched run, so it is what it is.
I think you might be at the point of Returnal where you can't stop playing it because of the amount of time that you've invested in it. Is that accurate?
Well, and like I mentioned last week, for me now at this point, it's just a matter of pride. I have to beat this goddamn game.
Yeah, I'm not going to beat on the game anymore. If you want to hear how I really feel about Returnal, just tune into last week's episode. And
yeah, 3 out of 10, fucking hot take.
I still don't think that's a very hot take, but that is neither here nor there, sir, because that is now in the past, and I'm definitely never buying it, so I guess it doesn't matter what I think. Well, no, that's good. I'm definitely excited for you to finally put that one to bed, so to speak. That'll be quite an achievement when you finally beat it. I can say from slight first-hand experience that that game's hard as fuck. So that'll be something else when you're finally done with it. Anything else you've been playing this week? I'm not mentioning my favorite phone game. Maybe I should mention my favorite phone game. I never talk about it.
Go ahead.
Because I played it probably more than any other game I've played at this point ever. If you haven't checked out Empires and Puzzles and want a fantastic mobile game to play that's very addictive and takes about a year to get set up to end game, that's your ticket right there. I've been playing it for about 3 years now, and I am a golden god amongst men. It's a pick 3 game, but like you set up a raid team. So it's sort of like if World of Warcraft and a pick 3 had babies.
This kind of reminds me of Marvel Puzzle Quest.
It's good. I don't really know what it compares to, because for whatever reason I saw an ad for it and I was like, oh, okay, this will be the game that I play then. And I've just stuck with it ever since. And it's fantastic. I have a really nice crew of people that I play with that I met in game that I've been playing with for all 3 years. So it's definitely got those World of Warcrafty vibes. You do raids. There's a PvP event that happens twice a week. It's kick ass. So if you haven't checked it out, check that one out. It respects your time and your wallet. But it definitely takes about a year to get to catch up to end game players. So be prepared.
Damn, that's crazy.
Be prepared for it. It's a monster game. So, all right. So that wraps up what we've been playing this week. So next up on the docket, we're gonna have some fun this week with our pick 3. Yes, pick 3 once again returns, and this week, in honor of the release of Army of the Dead, which is fantastic. That's my sneak peek to the end of the episode. That's my one up this week. We're gonna pick our 3 favorite zombie movies. Who doesn't love a good zombie movie, Johnny? Oh wait, we actually know some people that don't love zombie movies.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking at you, zombie movie haters. We saw you on Facebook this past week hating on Johnny's fun.
What's with the plot holes in Army of the Dead?
The plot of this zombie heist movie isn't airtight. What should I ever do? Somebody call Siskel and Ebert. Zombie Siskel, what do we do? Yeah.
I didn't allow myself to have any fun while watching this movie. That's not the movie's fault.
Johnny, you know what you did a fantastic job of this week?
What?
Not getting baited into an argument over a fun movie. You stayed out of it.
I did. It was not easy.
You stayed out of it, sir, and I commend you because you're usually one just like how you play your samurai in Ghost of Tsushima. You're usually one to go charging in head first, dick a swinging whenever there's an argument to be had. So I'm very proud of you.
Oh yeah, that's accurate.
that you avoided that shenaniganry over such a fun movie as Army of the Dead. But perhaps we can have some shenaniganry now. Let's discuss our pick 3 zombie movies. Why don't you get us started, Johnny?
All right. My first pick 3 zombie movie is what I think is probably the best modern zombie movie, Dawn of the Dead. One of Zack Snyder's OG movies. I love the concept of, zombie apocalypse in a mall because you kind of have a lot of things at your disposal. It's what's the video game where that's the entire premise, where you're in a zombie apocalypse in a mall?
Dead Rising.
And you're Dead Rising. Yeah. And that's kind of what
except this one's fucking scary.
Yeah, no, Dawn of the Dead is it's a fucked up movie, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's referring to the 2004 Dawn of the Dead, not the 1978 Dawn of the Dead. Two different films.
Yeah, no, not the original George Romero film, the Zack Snyder film, and it's awesome. I really, really enjoy it a lot.
The opening of that
Great
movie
cast.
with the kid in the suburb is freaking brutal.
Yeah, dude,
so good.
And the Richard Cheese cover of The Sickness playing
dude.
Yeah, it's so good. Right in the beginning of that, like the intro opening credit scene of that film is, "Get up, come on, get down with the sickness, you mother, get up, come on, get down." And while that's playing, it's just brutal zombie slaughters, like left and right. Just shows what happened when the zombie apocalypse began, and it's just absolute chaos.
Yeah, that is how Zack Snyder likes to get down with zombies, by the way. He
and Army of the Dead had a similar sort of intro. What was the song in Army of the Dead?
I forget, and I just watched it. I don't remember.
Yeah, but he did the same thing in that movie where it was like
Viva Las Vegas.
That's right. Yeah. It was kind of like a cheesy version of Viva Las Vegas, and then
it was like an acoustic, like coffee shop version of it.
Totally.
Yeah. No, it was great. It was very much the same thing.
All right, what's your first pick 3 zombie film?
Okay, so my first one is one that meant a lot to me that I've actually watched again recently. 28 Days Later. For those that aren't familiar, was a British independent film that they did some really cool things with. Now, they're not really zombies per se in 28 Days Later. They're infected with a virus called Rage. It's bred in a lab with a bunch of chimpanzees, and like a PETA group comes in and releases the monkeys, even though the doctor's pleading with them that they'll terminate all life as we know it if they do so, but they don't listen because free the apes or whatever. So things happen. Apes obviously get free and start infecting people with rage, and the movie kicks off with a guy waking up in the hospital completely alone, and he's somehow missed the whole rage outbreak. And it's 28 days later, and that's the premise for the movie. So this guy wakes up. It's been 28 days since basically the world's ended. And some of the things that are really cool in 28 Days Later, it was a really big deal when the movie came out, that there's shots of London in it, where the city's just completely empty. And they really shut down like those sections of the city to film those parts of the movie. I don't know how they got it done, but they did. And then like towards like the middle of the film, like one of the big interstates in Britain is completely shut down so they could get a shot of just the one car driving down the highway. And like, that's not CG. Like they legit got that shut down. And it's a little bit artsy for a zombie movie, but it's got a unique premise, a really good story. It's quite good. It hasn't aged the best. I noted, I watched it about a month ago, and it definitely feels old at this point, which I was a little disappointed by. My memory remembered it being younger than it actually was, I think. But no, 28 Days Later, I think, is one of the best zombie movies ever made. So certainly the first one I wanted to put on my list.
And if memory serves, this was the first movie I remember seeing that had fast zombies.
They run, yeah.
Yeah, like they fucking full blown. They smell something, hear something, they're running full speed.
Yeah, and
that shit's terrifying.
That movie came out actually a year before the Zack Snyder movie you were talking about, Dawn of the Dead. This movie came out in 2003, and it was made for.
It's crazy that it's that old.
It was made for $8 million. So it made quite a bit of money because it's
also the movie that put Cillian Murphy on the map.
Yeah. Who plays Jim in the film, and Jim is an unexpected badass, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's been in quite a few things since then. I think probably most famously at this point would be his role in Peaky Blinders, but the Netflix series that's been incredibly popular. But I think he has the lead role in that show. Same dude, but
yep, and he was also Scarecrow in the Dark Knight movies.
That's right. Yeah, the Batman Begins. He was Scarecrow.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. I never put that one together. That's right. And that was only a few years after 28 Days Later. So,
yep.
Cool. So that's my first one, Johnny. What's your second one?
I got to give it to the OG. I can't have this discussion and not give it up for Night of the Living Dead. The old school black and white movie that is still fucking scary as shit. I mean, I know that movie's dated. I mean, it's old. It's old, but man, that movie is still intense.
Well, imagine seeing that in 1968 when it came out.
I know. And I remember, I think I got the VHS for that movie. I think I bought it at Blockbuster for like $5. And I became obsessed with it. Like I watched it all the time. And that was definitely the movie that sealed my love for zombie films, was the original zombie film. It's the OG, and it's awesome. Just a great movie.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to say about that. I mean, it was low budget and freaky as hell. I mean, it spawned, for those that I guess don't know, which I imagine there's some people that don't know this, but that spawned Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Land of the Dead, Diary of the Dead. What else was it? Survival of the Dead, I think it was. That whole series of movies ties back to Night of the Living Dead. So,
yep,
one of the most influential zombie series of all time. Actually, the most influential because it started the whole damn thing.
Definitely, yep.
So yeah, no, that's a good pick. You have to have that one on there. I have one I feel strongly has to be on my list, and that is a movie that came out of South Korea, which there's been a lot of great Korean films coming out lately. But 2016's Train to Busan is possibly the best zombie movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
Wow.
It's a cut above the rest in terms of just the quality of the movie, the job done by the actors and actresses, it's tough to beat. And what's insane, like absolutely insane, again, this movie came out in 2016. Okay, so we're comparing now. I'm going to compare this to 28 Days Later, which was made for $8 million in 2003. Train to Busan was made in 2016 for $8.5 million. And I think it's the best zombie movie I've ever seen in my life.
Wow, that's crazy. I've never seen this one.
It's really intense. It doesn't let up. I mean, the premise is really simple. They're on a train and there's zombies. That's the movie.
Huh.
Like that's it. And there's really nothing else I can say about it. They're on a train to Busan and there's zombies. And it's fucking crazy. It's a South Korean movie from 2016. It's awesome. It's really, really awesome. If you have any love for zombies and haven't seen this film, you need to hit pause on your life and go watch it and then come back. So Train to Busan, ladies and gentlemen. I know you haven't seen it yet, Johnny, so I don't have anything else other to say about it other than you need to go watch it.
I might watch that tonight, actually.
What's your next one?
My third is actually another South Korean zombie film.
Oh, shit.
This one I think is a little more recent. I'm looking it up. Yeah, 2020. I saw this one on Netflix about maybe 6 months ago, and so the concept is he's kind of a younger kid, like teenager, maybe early 20s, and he's a Twitch streamer living with his parents. And his parents go on vacation. They leave him a little bit extra money. They leave him some food. I'm sorry. That's right. They leave him money and tell him, don't forget to go grocery shopping. And he doesn't because he's sitting playing video games. Well, the zombie outbreak busts out, and he lives on like the 5th floor of an apartment complex. And he literally watches the world fucking end from his apartment. He's able to stay in there. He's got the door boarded up, and he can see off his deck down into the streets all the mayhem that is happening. And he's just trying to survive off what little food he has. And then eventually he figures out that there's a girl in the apartment complex across the street who's also alive. And then it becomes a plan of, okay, how do we communicate with one another? How do we trade supplies back and forth? Like, do you have any food? I have flashlight batteries, things like that. And they eventually find a way to join up with one another and escape. Yeah, man, it's an intense zombie movie. A more recent one, but
yeah, I'm adding it to my my Netflix queue now. It looks like it's just on Netflix.
Yeah, but it's one of those movies I hadn't heard anything about. I hadn't read a review. It wasn't recommended. I just was skimming through Netflix and was like, all right, I'll watch a zombie movie. And I actually really, really enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was great. So if you dig zombie films, check out #Alive on Netflix. It's awesome. What's your final pick? I think I know what it is.
Yeah, it was one I was actually surprised you didn't go for. So I just couldn't leave it off our list. It must be mentioned, and that is
Amen.
It really does. It's the best. Shaun of the Dead. I hope.
Yeah, buddy.
Hopefully, anyone listening to our podcast has watched Shaun of the Dead. If you haven't, legitimately, just stop whatever you're doing. Pull off to the side of the road. Just pause everything.
Pause the podcast.
Yeah, just go watch this film. It's absolutely the most hilarious thing ever. Which, zombie films are done best when they have a little bit of humor to them. They kind of have to. You can't take yourself too seriously when you're doing a zombie movie. But this takes that idea and just goes over the top with it. It doesn't take itself seriously at all. The whole way the film kicks off with Sean and Ed not realizing that there's zombies until they find the two of them like out in their garden. And then they beat the thing to death with a cricket bat.
This movie's so good.
It's the best. It's absolutely hilarious. And, it's two guys on, a mission to get a beer at their favorite pub. That's the movie. So if you haven't seen Shaun of the Dead, please, I beg you, Go watch it. But speaking of movies and budgets, okay. So Train to Busan, 8.5 million. 28 Days Later, 8 million. Now, would you agree that of the movies we mentioned here, Shaun of the Dead is the best one?
No question.
No question, right? It's 100% the best one. It's probably the best zombie movie ever made. Budget?
It's certainly up there.
Budget $6 million. Made the thing for $6 million.
Well, and this is really the movie that put Simon Pegg on the map.
No, this is the movie that did. Yeah, he was nobody before this.
Before Hot Fuzz, before World's End, before all these other movies that those two have done. This was the movie that kicked them off, and it's fucking awesome.
Well, yeah, because
so good.
It was their screenplay. You know, too. They didn't just act in it. They wrote the damn thing. So no, it's freaking great. You have to watch Shaun of the Dead. So that's one you can put in any time and watch, and it's okay. Like if you can't figure out, oh, it's Friday night, what am I gonna do? Just put in Shaun of the Dead. Your night's gonna be awesome. I guarantee it. That wraps up this week's pick 3. So moving on here. We got to see something finally that I have been waiting to see for some time this week. We've both gushed over Horizon Zero Dawn pretty extensively, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Horizon Zero Dawn is, if you aren't familiar with our feeling on that game, I think we both put the story, at least, at our top 5 all-time stories for video games. I actually rank it number 1 on my all-time best story in a video game. Johnny, is it in your top 5?
It's definitely in top 5, yes.
And I'm not talking gameplay mechanic. I mean, just on its story itself. The gameplay's fine. The world's great. But it's one of the best stories I've ever seen told, not just in video games, but anywhere. It's absolutely incredible. The game's great. Can't recommend it enough. I think I don't know if I rate it above Last of Us, but I mean it's an argument I could have with myself. It's very good. So that all being said, this week we finally got to see gameplay of its sequel that's coming out this year. Horizon Forbidden West. Sony did a big thing on their official press release for State of Play, and they showed off, I don't know, I'd say probably a good 12, 13 minutes of scripted gameplay. We'll call it scripted gameplay.
Yeah.
That really, hopefully, is showing off the game in its natural state. I mean, the way it kind of kicks off, there's a wounded soldier, one of the allies of Aloy, and you're in sort of a tropical kind of environment, and it sort of builds off with, her encountering some new machines that have once again been corrupted, and it takes us through some really, I mean, A, jaw-droppingly beautiful graphics, B, some new enemy types that we haven't seen, C, some new gameplay mechanics that we didn't have in the previous game, and for D, it sort of gives off some ideas of what the story is about. So I kind of wanted to dig in a little bit deeper on Horizon Forbidden West, what we've seen, what we can gather, and what we think we might know from this gameplay reveal that came out this past week. So I guess, Johnny, what first take, just overall, how did you feel watching the gameplay of Horizon Forbidden West?
Well, I mean, it's definitely larger in scope, which is saying something, because the first one was a pretty impressive open world game. But the verticality of this one, how high the pillars were going, and then now you can go underwater, and it's just like, God. I mean, and then the addition of the grapple hook, and then the thing I really liked is how when she does her scan, it highlights spots that you can climb. Yep. And that's such a smart way around it, because it's not the Breath of the Wild solution where you can just climb anything, but it's you can still figure your way out. If there's a spot you're trying to get to, I feel like you'd be able to use that scan and the combination of that with your grapple, and you could figure it out. But I really thought that was cool, how she did the scan and it marked where she could climb, where are the points that she can grab on. A small feature, but a very nice added feature for that game particular. My big thing, and kind of really my only complaint with the first one, is I thought the end was a little too clean. It's like there's all this setup of all these things going on, and then when it's done, it's like, well, okay, well, Hades is dead. And
did you watch?
Hang. I know. There was a post credit. I know.
Okay.
I know.
Hades very much is not dead. very, very much is not.
But
dead. I'm going to talk about that more here in a little bit.
But no, first impressions. Give me this game now, please.
Now
take my money.
You're the more tech oriented between the two. What did you see in terms of graphical quality, performance, ray tracing? What sort of things were your giveaway that a lot of the magic sauce in this is going to be on the PS5 version?
I noticed a little bit of chromatic aberration, especially underwater. There wasn't a ton of examples of ray tracing. It's kind of hard to tell.
There was a few scenes where they were like,
there was a few spots.
Behold, ray tracing, with sunlight going through trees and things. But
I mean, the one thing that kind of caught my attention, and I don't know if this is just because it's the trailer, it didn't look like it was running at 60 frames a second. It felt like 30.
My eyes saw 60, and I'm really used to seeing 30 at this point from still being on a PS4.
I'm hopeful, and I imagine that's going to be their goal for everything on this console is going to be 60. That's kind of the way everything's been going. I was hoping. Well, I hope that this is just the trailer that I feel this way.
Yeah, I think
we'll see. Time will tell.
I think if anything, the thing with that gameplay reveal that was kind of messing up the frame rate was that it was such a scripted run. Like that wasn't somebody just sitting there playing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
That was in engine from the right camera angle, but it was like the E3 thing. It's like this really scripted thing that they probably spent a month putting together. And when they do that, they're always like panning the camera real slowly and doing this weird stuff that like isn't how people actually play games. The voice cues and thing were like a dead giveaway.
And like the first sort of reveal in this trailer that made my eyebrows go up is when you see the first machine we see,
the raptor chicken.
It's the raptor chicken with chainsaw teeth.
Yes.
But the thing that got my attention is that it's painted.
Yeah.
Before we see the second one and we see that there's a guy riding this thing, the moment I saw the first one, I was like, something's off because this one has been decorated. This does not look like any of the other machines we've ever seen. This one has been...
Yeah, no, great call
Someone
out.
has sat and painted this one.
So, something that is kind of shown is that the antagonists in the trailer are just referred to as raiders. But they are decorating machines. Well, I guess, first off, they once again have the power to corrupt machines, which in Horizon is always shown off by red lighting. You can always tell a machine that's been corrupted by Hades by the color red versus a machine that's under the control from Gaia, which is in blue. And so anything that Aloy interacts with is in blue. It's Gaia's machine. It's as she intended. But then anything that's been corrupted is always shown in red. And that's sort of your giveaway, too, that, Hades is very much still active in this game and is going on in the background. They didn't make any mention or show anything relating to Silence, who we can assume is going to have a role in the sequel. But you can see that Hades, just by color, is still present very much in this game. And I guess while touching on that too, just in terms of art direction and use of color and, the machines being decorated and everything, they make mention that there's once again, there's a form of corruption crossing the land, but this time it's like a biological corruption, and again, it's represented in the color of red. I didn't really know what to make of that as much. I certainly have some speculation, but it looks like some of the vegetation in the world is now being affected by Hades, and is...
Oh, I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, no. There's a lot of red vegetation and vines and things, and sort of after the main gameplay thing, they give it maybe 5 seconds of, there's corruption spreading through the United States, and it shows like the red plants and shit. So yeah, no, there's definitely stretching more into like a biological element. So I'm curious to see where that goes. Like if it's a thing where you're going to be progressing by eliminating this, or how that plays into the game. But yeah, the clear cut lines of the classic example, the Luke Skywalker lightsaber versus the Darth Vader lightsaber, the blue and the red, still very active, artistic element in this game, which is something I like. Very, very clear cut. Yeah, I spotted a lot of things in the trailer that we hadn't really seen before. Like, I'm going to call them raptor chickens until I actually learn their name. And then even afterwards, I'll probably continue calling them raptor chickens because that's fucking awesome. But then there was also, there was a scene with Erend, Aloy's friend.
Yeah, shout out to Erend. It was good to see him back.
Yeah, Aloy's friend that swings the hammer and all that. He has been captured somehow. So, basically the gameplay trailer, it seems as though he and Aloy are on a quest for some artifact, but he has been captured by the Raiders, and you see the Raiders. They have the other machine that we got to see, the out of water machine that we got to see, was a mammoth, and they call it the Trimmer Tusk.
Yeah, that thing looked like the Oliphants from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, no, exactly. It looked exactly like that. They even had like the little card on it that they wrote in with like cannons and shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so yeah, the big boss fight that you get to see in the Forbidden West trailer is Aloy fighting against the Trimmer Tusk, which is really freaking cool. So it shows that, a lot of the mechanics that we loved in combat wise from the first game, particularly one of Johnny's favorite mechanics. I remember watching your playthrough of it. You were obsessed with doing the tear build. You loved ripping shit off those machines and using it back against them.
Oh yeah.
And so they show that that's still active. She rips off a gun that it has for one of its tusks and uses it against it. And the explosions and like the damage that the machine took, I noticed that right away. Like if that holds up in the actual version of the game, that's a huge improvement over what we saw in the first game. Because again, like she's not at this point not just blowing the machines apart. These raiders have like this mammoth like really beautifully decorated, and like all the decorations and shit are getting blown off the machines as she's fighting them. And so it shows that the weak points are still very much the game mechanic for fighting against the machines. It's got the big belly full of like fuel or whatever that she detonates, thus killing the Trimmer Tusk. And very beautiful gameplay there, kind of leading up to it though. You see some really different gameplay mechanics. So you'd mentioned this already, the swimming. the underwater sequences. And
dude, the underwater sequence looked incredible.
it was absolutely beautiful. And yeah, it seems as though there's a mechanic introduced in this one where they have underwater breathing. Graphically, I thought that might have been the most impressive thing that we saw in that. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. It's also nice to see that that planet Earth is doing pretty well.
Yeah, it seems to be
with animals and fauna and everything else. I mean, it was thriving. It's cool.
So swimming seems to be a bigger mechanic this time around, which I'm all for. But other gadgetry that we saw besides her underwater breathing apparatus, she's got a fucking grappling hook, my dude.
Hell yeah.
Like a legit grappling hook. That looked really cool. And then, yeah, she maybe got a little bit of the Breath of the Wild treatment. She has a hang glider. Gliders seem to be showing up everywhere, don't they?
Yeah. Hey, I mean, it's a great mechanic when you're up high and you need to get low. It's a nice solution.
And it's an easy way to traverse a lot of ground quickly too. So I'm good with it. It's sort of like a digital net though that shows up. Very cool. So besides that, you were just mentioning too the fauna and everything in the world, how it looks like the world is doing well.
Yeah.
One of the things I was interested with, they reveal in the trailer that you're in San Francisco by showing the Golden Gate Bridge. And man, I don't remember San Francisco being that tropical. So apparently the climate of the world has changed in some ways too, because there's lots of like palm trees and like jungle sort of stuff going on. And it looked like a very warm, hot area. And, San Francisco is not normally that way. So,
yeah.
Really cool stuff there. I'm very excited for this game. I can only imagine that, the story for it's going to be fantastic. It seems like they've held up a lot of the integrity of what we saw in Zero Dawn. And you could see that just in that short trailer. So,
have they made any kind of hint as to when this game's coming out?
It's going to come out at the end of this year. I think it'll be out before holiday. I can try and confirm that.
This is definitely day one purchase, no question.
Yeah, and for me, I don't think that playing this game is going to be a problem on PS4. So I know some of you out there are already like Johnny, are already like all in, 100% ready to go PS5. And some of you are like me that want to hold off as long as humanly possible before investing in that machine. Which I want to do so even more, knowing that with, some of the chip shortages and stuff, it was reported last week that Sony's got a revised version of the console underway right now, which I'd much rather get the first revision of the console rather than the first version of it. So if I can somehow hold off on buying, that would be great. But yeah, no, they still don't have a hard set release date for Horizon. It is supposed to come out for PlayStation 4 and 5 sometime this year.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was PS5 exclusive.
No. Yeah, since it's been announced, it's PS4 and PS5. Now it's being developed for PS5. But I can't imagine Guerrilla doing a bad job on the PS4 release. I don't think this is going to be another Cyberpunk 2077 thing. I don't think so.
Well, especially with it being first party, they're not going to let that happen.
No. But I do think it'll be 30 frames per second, no ray tracing. Obviously, it's going to look like a PS4 game, basically. But it's built in. It's still being built in Decima, which runs great on PS4. So I don't think they're going to have any issues with it, like CD Projekt Red did, using their. They just have too many plates of their own that they had to spin. They have their own engine, their own publisher. It's just too many problems that they couldn't solve, and I don't foresee this having any of those same issues. Being built being built in Decima, developed by Guerrilla, published by Sony. I kind of see this one being fine from a technical standpoint, regardless of where you choose to play it, even though it looks really, really good, the PS5 version of it, and that's what we saw in our gameplay reveal. So, yeah, I'm very.
Yeah, it looks sick for
I'm
sure.
very excited for the game. Johnny, any closing thoughts from you on this? Anything I danced around you wanted to chime in on?
No, I mean it's a game that deserves a sequel, and I'm glad to see they're giving it the level of respect that it deserves. This is a franchise I think we're going to be playing for years and years to come. I love Aloy, the main character. I love that world, and I'm all in. Take my money.
Yeah, seriously. I wonder how long it'll take. Because they've kind of already established the precedent that this series comes to PC. But obviously it's not going to come to PC right away. I just wonder how long it'll take for the PC version of this game to come about. That's kind of the only question I have lingering in the back of my mind, even though even at this point we don't even have a release date yet for consoles. But I'm wondering, is it going to be a year, 2 years? How long until Sony decides that they've made enough money off of it to turn it loose on PC, which...
I think year or two.
Let's say 2 year. That's probably the safe assumption, right?
That's probably the best bet. Yeah.
So, and again, everyone, if you haven't played it already, you got time. Play Horizon Zero Dawn. It's you should have it for free. If you have a PlayStation, they were giving it away, whether or not you have PlayStation Plus or not. You could get it just for the stay-at-home initiative that they had. So please play that game if you haven't played it already. You will absolutely love it. That is an easy 9 out of 10 all day from either one of us, no doubt.
Yep. Amen.
All right. So, man, it feels good to talk about a new Horizon game. I'm pumped up. I'm ready. I'm ready, man. We need something with some meat on the bones to talk about that's new. It's been a while.
It really has.
Well, I guess on that note, let's move into our final segment of the show. Johnny, as you are a master of announcing that segment, what is the last segment of this week's show?
One up.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's right. It is time for One Up. As I alluded earlier, my one up this week is none other than Zack Snyder's Netflix release, Army of the Dead, the zombie / heist movie. That is just ridiculously good. It really is. Like that would totally be on my pick 3 list if it had a little bit more time to age. That would totally be there. Dave Bautista, dude. Can we talk about Dave Bautista real quick? How he's like becoming a legit actor. I want to see like everything the guy has anything to do with.
He killed in this movie. He was so good. Even the dramatic scenes, dude.
Oh my God.
He was great in this movie.
You had to be bawling like a baby at the end. I know you motherfucker.
No, I didn't. I didn't shed a tear on this one.
That's good.
I really didn't.
That's good because I mean, he really sells it at the end, but the action sequences and everything were just great in this film. So good.
Dude, his rage monster moment in that movie was so fucking good.
Yeah. Wait. The amount of headshots he lays down as they're doing the
oh my God,
leaving the casino floor. Just absolutely nuts, man. Yeah, he's been tearing it up lately. I kind of feel like maybe he's becoming the next Dwayne Johnson here. What's with wrestlers like in their late 40s and early 50s becoming decent actors?
It's true, man.
Yeah, you got.
I know that. Now we got John Cena in the next Suicide Squad film.
Yeah, John Cena he's actually seems to do best in comedy movies, in my opinion.
I agree. He's really funny.
He is. So, but yeah, guys, if you haven't watched this yet, again, this movie's great. the beginning's really funny, and it goes from funny to like legit zombie movie to legit heist movie back to legit zombie movie. And like some of the things that Snyder introduces in the film are truly just brilliant ideas for a zombie movie.
Absolutely.
You know, just brilliant. Like they have the hierarchy where these aren't just fucking idiot zombies. Like they actually have like a leader and a hierarchy and a caste system. You know, there's shamblers. There's, I think you remember the names better. The
alphas.
Yeah. The ones that
shamblers,
run and shit.
the alphas. Yeah, dude.
And
they had like parkour like gymnasts doing those roles. So they're like backflipping off of walls and like full sprinting and jumping over slot machines. I mean, it is sick.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the movie's really good. It's really good. And the you know, they in these, the way they do the heist film, like introductions to all the different characters and the team and stuff. It's very Ocean's 11 and
totally
just absolutely hilarious. My favorite character in the film is the guy that cracks the safe.
Yeah, he's getting his own movie.
He's hilarious.
Did you hear he's getting his own movie?
No.
It's already filmed. They've already filmed a prequel film for that character.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of the movie, but it's coming to Netflix. They've also announced an anime show called Army of the Dead Lost Vegas. And then, obviously, they're going to do a sequel to Army of the Dead. So this is like a full-blown zombie franchise from Zack Snyder on Netflix. And I'm here for it, man. Yeah. I mean, anybody you saw online, on Facebook, on Twitter, on your friend list, whatever, talking shit on this movie, I'm serious. They just don't know how to have fun. They just can't take... This is the movie where you take your brain out and you put it on the couch next to you and you make some popcorn and you crack a beer and you just have a good time. I've really enjoyed this movie. Yeah. It's 2.5 hours and it never really felt slow to me at all. I was sucked in and engaged the whole time. And as soon as the credits rolled, I was like, all right, let's go. Bring me the next one. I'm in.
Yeah,
so I loved it.
I ate 2 bags of popcorn in the movie. So that's as high praise as I can give to a film.
Now, did you notice the little Easter egg at the very beginning of the film sort of revealing where these zombies came from?
No.
When the military convoy is leaving Area 51, you see 2 UFOs off in the distance blast off into space.
I did not catch that, no.
Right in the first 5 minutes of the movie, if you pay attention to the skyline, you see 2 UFOs zip past.
Sweet.
Yeah. And then there were zombie robots. Like there's all kinds of unexplained shit that they just put in there, and you could tell it's just Zack Snyder going, we'll put it in there. We'll touch on it in another movie. But yeah, this movie was a blast.
Yeah. But Dave Bautista keeps making great career choices. You know, he picked doing this film with Zack Snyder over working in Suicide Squad. He turned that down to be in this, and absolutely brilliant, perfect. So I can't gush about it enough. Go watch it, Johnny. What is your one up this week?
My one up is another Netflix movie. It's a French sci-fi film, so just heads up, it is subtitles. It's called Oxygen, and it's a very cool claustrophobic film. It's one of those movies that the entire film is one character in one location for the whole movie.
Okay.
Just to give the tiniest bit of setup, she wakes up from a cryostasis chamber. She doesn't know how she got there. She doesn't know who she is. And the medical AI that is controlling this cryo med bay that she's in will not let her unlock it. And keeps trying to sedate her. Eventually decides that since she's running out of oxygen that it needs to kill her. So she has to put up with that. But this entire film takes place with one woman in a cryostasis med bay for the whole movie. And the star of it is Melania Laurent. She was the star in Inglourious Bastards. She was Soshana.
Oh, okay, yeah. Absolutely.
And she's a wonderful actress. She's really fucking good. And
Soshana.
That's right. And she had to carry this film by herself. I mean, she's literally... There are flashback sequences where we see other characters, but otherwise, it is her in a box for an entire movie. And I thought it was very smartly done. You could tell this was a very low budget, how do we make this movie for $2 million kind of thing. But it was very cool. Very, very, very cool. I enjoyed it a lot.
Well, there you go. I'll have to, completely off my radar. I'll have to add that one to the list.
Yeah. Another one that popped up out of nowhere. I hadn't heard anything and just went, I like sci-fi. Let's check it out.
Huh. Sci-fi trying to be killed by a medical device horror.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a new genre that's happening, sir. Who knew? All right. Well, that wraps it up this week. Any closing thoughts from you, sir? I'm spent. I think we got it all out. That was a lot was a lot of movies and TV this week.
It was. I am down with it. And speaking of which, I think I'm literally gonna log off and go watch Train to Busan right now.
No more Returnal tonight.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Probably not. I think I'm gonna do Train to Busan. I'll do Returnal tomorrow. By the way, shout out to my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/hellhero, H3LLH3RO. Pop in, say hello to Mike and I, and yeah, we'll see you next week.
There it is. So, well, as Johnny said, we will be back again next week with another great episode of the Power Gamer Podcast. Until then, I'm Mike Dawson.
And I'm Johnny Paulus.
Tune in next time. Take care.
Catch you on the flip-flop.
Ooh, yeah! The Power Gamer Podcast has been brought to you by listeners like you. If you would like to directly support the podcast, please visit us at www.patreon.com/PowerGamerPodcast and consider directly supporting our show. You can find us online at facebook.com/PowerGamerPodcast and on Twitter at PowerGamerCast. If you'd like to email the show with your questions or comments, please write to PowerGamerPodcast@gmail.com. Please follow our show on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or iTunes. Thanks so much for listening, and we hope you tune in again for next week's episode.